epidemic sweeping the nation. 10 out of 10 Homo sapiens suffer from this on a weekly basis. And no, I'm not talking about bad breath. Like right now. Anyway, does anybody want to take a guess on what this epidemic is? Stress. That's right. Now, everyone has been stressed before, from a math quiz to final to midterms to writing your COMM150 cultural artifact speech the night before it's due. Stress gets to everyone, and everyone can relate to it. I've tried different methods of relieving my stress, and I've noticed that there's only one remedy that works for me, and that's this artifact right here. And no, it's not a fancy vase for floral decorations. This artifact is a hookah, and in Arabic it's called shish. Hookah represents different things to different people around the world, and to me it has a cultural significance. I'm going to speak to you all about the culture, my culture, of hookah, and the origination from ancient Egyptian culture and its modern stand today. First, I will stuff the history of ancient Egypt, then I'll fire up the origination of where it came from, and finally, I'm going to smoke the modern culture stands and how I identify with this culture today. Hookah represents Egyptian history to me. First, I'll tell you a little bit about the history of this artifact. Historians cannot pinpoint the exact location of where the hookah originated from, but they have an idea that it originated from one of two countries. The first was India, and the second one was Egypt. Historians say that a Muslim gentleman named Hakim Abdul Fateh Gilani brought the idea of a hookah to the Egyptian king named Tao II. And back then, the hookah were very simple and flamboyant in design. They were made from a coconut base, and Gilani designed the hookah to smoke opium and hashish. And hashish is the Arabic word for tobacco. Since the popularization of the hookah in Egypt, it spread through the Persian kingdom, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Middle Asia, and a lot of the Arab countries. And just to give you an idea, the hookah reached Turkey from Egypt just 500 years ago. That tells you how long ago it was actually invented. Back then, smoking out of a pipe was really, really popular, so Gilani decided to revolutionize the way people smoke by creating a system where the water is used in the base to filter the smoke so it's easier on your lungs. Today, Egyptians use it as a part of their culture. They use it to relax, to digest food, and to spend time with their family and friends. Hookah became a big part of the Egyptian culture because it has to do with spending time with your loved ones. Egyptians spend their late night after dinner, after you would eat your dinner, your mom's homemade food, they would take the hookah out, and that's when the father would come home after a long day of work, and then he would sit with his family, his children and his wife, and talk about their day, and he'd give an update, about how school was or stuff like that. And now that I've talked about the history and the culture of the hookah in Egypt, I will now talk about why I identify with this object. Since I was a young child, I remember that my family would take the hookah out at holiday, family reunions, and my family would use this time to spend with each other. And I remember that my dad's from Cairo, Egypt, so he told me that it was a tradition that his parents did with him and his siblings, and now he's passing it on to us. And he's a firm believer of family time, because he believes that strong moral support from your parents helps you when you get older. So I could identify and relate to this culture because whenever family reunions would happen, it was very common for us to take the hookah out after homemade food and then tell jokes and play games like Mafia, Pictionary, Taboo. And our family has a thing that every year, us cousins would have a contest to see who could do the coolest tricks, that year. So we would have a huge, contest to see who would do the coolest tricks, and whoever would win gets a prize. And the best way to describe my feeling about hookah is while Manuel over here is watching a relaxing game of, the Lakers losing to the Chicago Bulls, I am spending the same time smoking hookah with my family and friends. As you see, I talked about the history, the origination of the hookah from ancient Egypt, and how I identify with this culture. In Egypt, In Egyptian culture, hookah is used for relaxation, spending time together, and digesting food. I talked about who introduced the hookah and how and its role in Egyptian culture. Hookah has many modern purposes, and for me and my family, it's like a symbol of quality time and ancient Egyptian history.